As of August 17, 2024, the seller no longer have to pay the buyer's agent. So therefore, you and your agent will have to negotiate that ahead of time and then sign a contract so you begin to look at homes. And by the way, by law, agents cannot show you homes unless you have to sign buyer-broker's agreement. Welcome to Love, Listings, and Legacy, where love, community, and building a lasting impact meet. We are Mony and Sofaline, a husband and wife real estate team, sharing our perspectives on life, real estate, and philanthropy, our stories about resilience and service. Join us each week as we share our journey of life, business, and giving back, all while building a legacy for our family and community. This is Love, Listings, and Legacy, where hearts, homes, and philanthropy come together. Let's get started. Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for taking the time to listen to Sophie and I on a regular basis. But today I get to do this episode by myself. Today's episode is going to be about what should you know when buying a home. I'm going to be talking or sharing with you 6 information that you'll need in order to have the best chance of getting that new home for that new year, to start beginning creating memories for you and your family. So here we go. You ready? Number 1, before you begin to buy a home, think about selecting your agent. Interview at least 2 to 3 agents if you have the time to do so. I would like you to consider asking your agent a few questions, such as, I'm going to give you the top 5 that I have. I have more. You can go on our website, Love, Listings, and Legacy, and you can download it there. But here's the top 5. Number 1, how long have you been working in the real estate industry, and approximately how many homes have you bought and sold? The reason why you want to know the agent's experience of how many homes they bought and sold, do they understand the contract, do they know what they're doing, do they know the location, do they know the market? You want to know the agent is professional and that they're knowledgeable in representing you and your family. And the reason why is because this is the biggest purchase of your life, and you want someone who's really, really good about what they do. They just know what to do. They have the resources. They know how to maneuver within a contract, so this way you don't get in a bind during a contract. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, how many clients do you typically work with at one time? The reason you want to know that too is because if they're working with too many people, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they're just going to be simply too busy for you. You want to find an agent that has been on the market a long time, very, really well experienced, but they have the time to kind of show you the ropes, get you there, find you multiple homes to look at, find different ways to find homes by calling other agents, for example. They go to a real estate meeting, for example. They just know what to do in order to get you that home. But if they're too busy, they're not going to have time to do those things for you. Number 3, what fees or commissions should I expect? The reason why you should ask this question is because as of August 17th, 2024, the new law in real estate has changed. And that is basically saying that seller often pays for the commission on the listing side and on the buying side. But as of August 17, 2024, the seller no longer have to pay the buyer's agent. So therefore, you and your agent will have to negotiate that ahead of time and then sign a contract so you begin to look at homes. And by the way, by law, agents cannot show you homes unless you have to sign buyer-broker's agreement. Some agents are still doing it without that, but you're not supposed to do that at all. So make sure you get that agreement in place, and then you can begin to look at homes, okay? And number 4, what is your strategy for finding a home for me in a competitive market? For example, right now we have about 50 homes for sale. What are they going to do differently? For example, for me, I go to the real estate meeting once a week. I talk to a lot of agents. I call a lot of agents. I know which agent works what certain neighborhoods in the Tri-Valley, especially in Livermore. I could try to find you homes before it hits the market. I look at coming soon, for example. I also place your information in a top agent network. So this way you have the greatest exposure to the top 10 agents in Alameda County and also Contra Costa County. So giving you the best avenues of finding homes by, simply my knowledge of agents and exposure of you, of what you're looking for to other agents in this area. And the last very important one, again, I have more, is what sets you apart from other agents? What are they doing differently? How good are they? Can they explain the contracts to you? What other ways, how many ways can they get you into a home? Do we have the vetted industry professional that could help finish the work, complete the work, do renovation for you, repairs for you, which will save you time and money? Do they have all those things lined up for you? That's what you need to look for in order to find the best agent. All right, you ready for number 2? Number 2 is about getting pre-approved. Now, getting pre-approved with a lender to get you a loan in order to buy the house, that in itself is a process in itself. You have to get all the paperwork lined up. You have to submit a bunch of things, such as your bank statement, your W-2 statements. You have to fill out a loan application process in the whole 9 yards in order to get you approved. So it's not just submit some information and get that done. Let me talk about 3 types of a pre-approval with you, or approval process with you. Number 1, pre-qualification. Pre-qualification is that anybody could get that done. You can go online, submit some information online with the lending company, and then get you pre-qualified. That to me is not good enough, especially from the listing side. When I look at your letter of pre-qualification, you're just an okay buyer, okay? But if you get, the next one is called pre-approval. Pre-approval means that you fill out the loan application, you submit the W-2 form, you submit the bank statements, but not every step, like the verification of employment, all that is already done by the underwriting team, but you're you submitted a bunch of documents, you did the loan application, you get pre-approved. You are a better buyer, better qualified buyer in order to buy that house. So in all essence, most likely when you're pre-approved, you could close that home between 25 and 30 days. Okay, so the third and most important in the pre-approval process is called the desktop underwriting approval, or also known as the DU approval. Okay, here's what that means. Basically, in addition to doing the loan application, providing the W-2 form, the bank statements, the other financial documents, possibly doing the verification of employment and all that, what happens is when you finish these process, your documents will be sent to an underwriting team. An underwriting team will look at your file and then review them and then pre-qualify you or pre-approve you or give you a full approval in the process of buying this house. What that means is that you're probably the most well-qualified, that you're so well-qualified that you're ready to buy the house. And here's what that means. Here's why it's so important. The pre-qual, anybody can get. Pre-approval takes about 25 to 30 days to close. On a DU approval, you can close between, I've seen as low as 14 days to 18 days to 21 days. Now, why is that important? Because when a seller sells a home, he or she just want to get paid, so the faster you close, the better it is for them. And the faster you close, the likelihood that the contract or the transaction is not going to fall out of contract. So that's really, really important. So get yourself DU approved. That's the most important things you do. And of course, after you get DU approved, you can ask your agent to set you up an automatic alerts of new listing coming onto the market, and now begin to go out and look at homes at open houses or schedule homes that are available with your agent and start going out there to take a look at them. All right, so the next best thing you could do is know and understand the 3 contingencies in a purchase contract. This is where most people get confused, or some agents don't take the time to really explain this to you as a new buyer. Now, first of all, what is contingencies? Contingencies is basically a time period you ask the seller to get your loan approved, to get your inspection completed, and to get your appraisal completed. Now, usually in a purchase contract, the normal standard days on the market, a contingency period is 21 days to get your loan approved, to get your property appraised, and also to get your inspection completed. However, when you are making a purchase, when you're making an offer to the seller, you might want to lessen those days, because for example, could be 7 days or 10 days contingency period, because the longer it is, the longer the seller have to wait, and the fact that you as a buyer have a clause to back out, and the seller doesn't want to wait 21 days to know that you're going to back out days 20 and they're going to have to put the homes back on the market. So those are the three contingencies that you have to consider. But my suggestion is this. When a home is on the market and the seller has not completed their inspections yet, please do not release inspection contingencies if you can, because you want to ask them for a certain amount of time to make sure that you get the home inspected during the buying process. Okay, unless the home is 2 or 3 years old, you may take a chance on it, but otherwise, always get the home inspected when you can. Okay. Speaking of inspections, you need to know about the inspection as well. The inspections usually range from a home inspection, a pest inspection, a chimney inspection, a pool inspection if needed. Most homes don't, or some homes don't have it, but I would say in this area, about 50% of the home has a pool, so you might want to consider it as well. So here are the costs for inspections. Home inspection usually range anywhere from $500 to $600 on a 1,200 square feet to maybe 2,000 square feet. But anything above that is going to cost you more than that, of course. But that's on average, it's going to cost you about $500 to $600, $650 for a home inspection. The pest inspection usually costs you about $300 to $400. The roof inspection costs anywhere from $200 to $250. And the chimney is about $200 right now. But the pool inspection will cost you about $400 to $500 for a pool inspection. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit, but you must get your home inspected. I always recommend it because I'd rather you spend the money to get the home inspected rather than find out later that the home is not right for you and has all these issues, and that's going to be a potential problem for you and also for me as an agent representing you. So that's why I always ask you to do those things ahead of time. I think the next and last and best thing that you could do is what are the top 3 things you could do to get your offer accepted? Here are my top 3 answers for you. Number 1, ask your agent to find out what the seller's looking for and try to match them or supersede their expectations. What I mean by that, if they're looking for rent back, do they need a longer close period? Do they want to close early? Is there a price point they're looking for? What are the specific things they're looking for? I'll give you an example. One of the offer I wrote was that it was so competitive, but this home, the owner had already done inspections. We released all contingencies. We reimbursed them for all the cost of their inspections. And man, it was just such a perfect offer. Within 8 hours, we took this home off the market. So you want to find out what the seller's looking for, match them, or supersede their expectations. Remember, it's not about what you want, it's about what the seller is looking for. So that's one of the most important things that you could think about to keep in mind. Number 2 is close as soon as practical. As I mentioned earlier, when a seller put the home on the market, they just want to get paid. They just want to close on the house. They're ready to move. They want to get paid because everybody could use that money. Most sellers will already spent their money on something that they need, from moving expenses to paying off debts to all kinds of things that they made arrangement for financially. So they just want to get paid and get their money and move on. But if you could offer sometimes a few extra rent back to the seller, that's going to be very, very helpful to them. And most likely you'll be able to get that offer accepted over other offers as well. Okay. And the third and final thing that you could do is that to remove all contingencies when you can, especially the appraisal contingencies. Basically, what happens when you remove or waive all contingencies is that you're guaranteeing the seller, no matter what happened with the house, that you're going to buy it. And then especially if you remove or waive the appraisal contingencies, what you're saying is basically you're saying that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I guarantee you that whatever offer price I made on my contract, no matter what it's appraised at, I'm going to pay this price to you. That's the greatest thing you could do in a contract, and it's the greatest guarantee that you can give a seller. I hope that these 6 or 5 important things, or 6 important things I gave you today is good for you, that you put that to use and help you and your family and your agent to get in a contract for this new year. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me. Love Listings and Legacy. Please find us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, where Spotify is available. Thank you.
Thank you for joining Love, Listings, and Legacy this week. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Join us next time as we continue to navigate the path from adversity to success, one property and one purpose-driven decision at a time. Thanks for listening.